What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 104 of the My Parents Office podcast. I am your host, Andrew Diaz. Today we got the third episode of Camp Chronicles. Don't have anybody on today. It's been a pretty hectic week of camp so far. So kind of fill you in on what's been going on with that and how camp's been going. My first real college football camp. Um, so it's been good so far, but before I get into all that, also had a fantasy draft last night, so I'll kind of go over my team and go over how me and my strategist picked for the draft. But before, like I said, follow us on social media. Substack is Articles from the Office. Go subscribe to that. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, My Parents Office. Facebook page, My Parents Office Podcast. But so yeah, last night had a fantasy draft, 10-team league. It's it's 8 offensive linemen on our team, 2 receivers. So in the room, maybe you saw him at the beginning of the episode if you're watching on YouTube. We had my buddy Jake Nutter in here. Nutter did not get a team in, but he did. He is my assistant GM, I call him, for my team. So we had, I think it was the 5th pick. We ended up taking Kamara with the 5th pick because he was, I think, best available at the time. It was him or Travis Kelce we were going to go with. And then coming back around, we ended up taking Calvin Ridley just off the sheer fact that he was going to be the number 1 guy in Atlanta this year, and he's really competing with just Kyle Pitts, 4 touches. They're not a big run game team. Like Mike Davis he's not really going to be a threat to take away from Ridley's points. And then coming back around with our third pick, or pick in the 3rd round, Mahomes was sitting on the board. I mean, a guy like that is automatic 20 a game. It's too good to not pick. So we went with Mahomes. And then following that, we went with Mark Andrews as our tight end, which is brutal, yeah, because he passed out at practice. Hopefully it's just dehydration because they gave him an IV. Hopefully he's back. Didn't sound like it was anything too major, but you're always concerned when something like that happens. Then we ended up we took T. Higgins is our other starting receiver at the moment. Darrell Henderson of the Rams, we took him as our second running back because Cam Akers gets hurt. Malcolm Brown leaves to go to Miami. Henderson's the number 1 guy in LA. And they're going to have a good passing attack, so I think they'll get up on teams and run the ball a little bit more. What? Oh, yeah. So I only thought you got 4 bench players because we didn't scroll down all the way on on the fantasy, like when you're drafting. And so I think we're just about done. We take our bench players, and then we scroll up and we're like, oh, shit, we have 3 more picks. I mean, it didn't really hurt us in the end. But, I mean, there were guys that we could have definitely waited to pick. But in our flex, we got Kenny Golladay, which I think will be good with the Giants. 49ers defense, Harrison Butker, the Chiefs kicker, as our kicker. Like I said, Mahomes is going to score a lot. And that means Butker's going to get a lot of extra point attempts. And, I mean, he'll be kicking some field goals too. He's reliable. Him and Tucker are the 2 most reliable guys in the league. On our bench, we got Zach Moss, the Buffalo I call him like a goal line leech because he's a power back. He's not going to do a lot of the work on the field, like going up and down the field, but he will punch it in from 7-8 yards out. Our backup tight end is Tyler Higbee. For the Rams, we picked up Mecole Hardman as a receiver that we could throw in the flex possibly, or if a guy goes down. Our backup QB for at least one of the weeks is Matt Ryan because if Matt Ryan throws touchdowns, it's most likely going to go to Calvin Ridley. We have Calvin Ridley, double those points. Michael Carter, he I think maybe returned some kicks for the Jets this year, but he's also going to be the Jets' primary 3rd down back. Decent pick there late. That was a real late pick. Picked up Paris Campbell, who's got a new quarterback in Indy. That's like another late pick, but could pay off. And then Sterling Shepard also. So, I mean, I kind of like how our team turned out. We're facing off against the commissioner of our league, Henry Pearson. Kind of scumbag move, gave himself the 1st overall pick. Just kind of a scumbag, like just overall. So we ended up taking Derrick Henry, number 1. He's got Aaron Rodgers. He took Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson, Jarvis Landry, Robert Tonyan, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's got the Washington defense and Brandon McManus. but his bench is just filled with a lot of rookie guys. Like he's got Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith on his bench. Malcolm Brown on there, young guy. Philip Lindsay, Joe Burrow, Eric Ebron, Giovanni Bernard. So, I mean, I think if one of his guys goes down or they got a bye week, he's screwed. But, I mean, his starting lineup overall is pretty nasty. Yeah, and then, Jake just brings up we have another kid in our league, Matt Dunn, drafted pure hype players. It feels like he took Brady as a quarterback. He's a New England homer, so I'm really not surprised there that he took him. He took Zeke Elliott, I think 6th overall when there were a lot of better players available, and with Zeke being so inconsistent. Fournette is his other running back. He took DK with his 2nd overall pick. Mike Evans was his 3rd overall pick, which is a pretty good one. He took O.J. Howard and Chris Godwin. So that's where he fucks himself over, is because he has Brady, who will throw to either Thomas or to Godwin, Howard, or Evans, but he's not going to throw to all 3 of them in one game. So he's going to have one guy that'll really go off, and the rest will do nothing for him. The rest, he's got a lot of pass players on his bench. Edelman, who retired, did Edelman retire? Yeah, Edelman is done. Wow, that is that's baffling. Wow, he's got Cam Newton as his backup QB, Damian Harris, Jonnu Smith, James Conner, Randall Cobb, and Devontae Parker. So very, very odd. We only had one auto draft, and it was Moose Erickson, another one of our right tackles. But so I'm confident, and the wager's pretty big on if you win or lose this league, because at Mass Maritime, a lot of you may not know, we do have scheduled watches where you sit at either in the building at CIC or on the boat. If you are the winner of the league, the loser of the league, the guy that comes in 12th place, takes your watch. Cannot be a weekend or holiday watch, but it has to be an in-week watch. So it could be midnight to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12. So, I mean, you're really – if you just don't want to come in last. So I'm praying I do not come in last. Praying, because I don't want to pick up another watch. I don't want to have to do watch on the ship. So that's where that's at with camp so far. Camp's been good. I mean, it's mentally and physically draining. Especially this is for 2 whole classes of us. This is our first camp with us as juniors and the sophomore class, because we got robbed of a sophomore season. And at Mass Maritime, you get only, as a freshman, you're going through orientation. So you go to 1 practice a day. You're not going through meetings, lifts, flexibility, walkthroughs. You're not going through all that type of stuff. So you're up early. You're all over the place. Your day is pretty much planned out for you. So definitely a punch in the face, wakes you right up. And you kind of just have to figure it out on the go. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's I'm definitely happy to be back on campus playing football again, because a lot of us, some guys were on campus, some guys were able to participate in our mock spring ball that we had up at Mass Maritime, but a lot of kids didn't. So it's just good to be back. That's, I think, the one big takeaway. I'm recording this on Thursday night, so we're already a week in. Today is but I think this will come out on Friday. Today is Thursday. It is Brett's birthday. So make sure if you hear this, DM Brett, wish him a happy belated birthday, because he's killed it on the show so far as a co-host, as a producer, as an ideas guy with us too. We're going to have a lot of new stuff in the winter when we're able to kind of get together, because I do have a 2-month winter break. So we're going to be doing a lot of different content together down in, I think, the New Jersey area, revolving around the world of college wrestling. So this could be our biggest thing. I don't want to give it away too much yet in case it does fall through, which I don't think it will right now. But, we're still putting a lot of planning into this, even 5 months out from what we want to do. So make sure you go wish Brett a happy birthday. But other than that, with the camp-wise, there hasn't been too much going on. I mean, it's the same thing every day pretty much. You wake up, you have breakfast, whether you go or not, that's up to you. Lift or flexibility, and then you've got a walk through following that. Then you've got a nice little break in between for lunch, and then you got practice. Usually we're just uppers, which is kind of nice. We were full pads the other day for a scrimmage. I think we're going to scrimmage again on Saturday, and then we're going to put them right back on and scrimmage Dean on August 28th, which is exciting to finally hit a different colored jersey. That'll be definitely a nice thing to do. But yeah, the uppers is definitely a nice thing to have, so you're not gearing up every single day. But it's, like I said, it's mentally and physically draining. But you as a football player, you expect that with camp. So, but along those lines, with college football, I'm still doing the college football countdown on Substack. I'll kind of, if you're listening, I'll give you kind of a sneak peek at who you're going to see for the rest of the countdown. So today we're 9 days out. So I wrote about former West Virginia quarterback Major Harris, who was a big-time contributor on the ground, through the air for the Mountaineers. Was a two-time Heisman finalist, so that was definitely a fun one to write about. A guy my dad grew up watching because he grew up in the 80s when Harris was at his peak. Didn't really do much in the NFL after. Tomorrow for number 8, the guy I have lined up now is George Iloka from Boise State, because he had a real good college career, but hasn't been a great NFL player, like an awesome NFL player. But I mean, it's tough. There are a lot of guys. Certain numbers are tough. So I think number 8, I'm going to stay with George Iloka. Number 7, for when we hit 7 days out from college football, is going to be the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And there could really be a lot of guys you do at 7. And you could even just stay at the theme of LSU with like DJ Chark, Leonard Fournette, and now Derek Stingley with the 7 tradition. So, but I'm going to go with Honey Badger, who was like one of the original guys with that number. Number 6 is one I'm definitely in between still. It's between Jerome Bettis at Notre Dame and Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. I don't know if Bettis won a Heisman at Notre Dame, but Baker did. But I also have another Oklahoma quarterback down the line on here that would be a tough one. Number 5 is another tough one I'm in between with either Manti Te'o from Notre Dame or Derek Brown from Auburn. So that'll kind of be a game time decision, just how I wake up feeling on that day. Number 4 was a tough number to find for college guys, which is weird. So we're going to go with Terrence Newman when he played at Kansas State. Number 3, we're going Keyshawn Johnson at USC. Number 2, one of the most intimidating players I ever watched play, in Sean Oakman. So that'll be a fun one to write about, because a guy I kind of grew up watching play, and like you always saw the memes of him with the crop top shirt and the at the coin toss. And then number 1, I said it was going to be an Oklahoma quarterback. Probably not the one you're thinking of, though. It's not Kyler Murray. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts as my guys. But this has kind of been a fun thing for me to do. It's been something that I can consistently put out on the blog. It's easy to write about, because you kind of just go to their Wikipedia page and write like some fun facts about a lot of these guys. And I started it 99 days ago. I'm still debating if I'll do a number 0, because there is a number 0 from a guy from Connecticut that wore that in playing Division I football. So we'll see if I do that for the day of the game. I actually don't even know who is playing college football in 9 days, which is, let me look that up. The first D1 college game. Football. It's an exciting time, but I feel like it's just going to be, I don't know. Who's opening it up for us? So August 28th. Oh, there's a lot of games. Nebraska plays Illinois. Connecticut plays Fresno State. UTEP, New Mexico State. Hawaii, UCLA. Southern Utah, San Jose State. UAB, Jacksonville State. And that's pretty much it. Then, that UAB game is actually that following Wednesday, September 1st, when we actually technically move back into school. So there's going to be a good slate of games through that. Saturday is not going to be awesome. There's some okay games, especially now Nebraska just got popped for cheating, which is actually astonishing that they got popped for cheating when they haven't had a winning program since Scott Frost has been there. It's the ultimate dichotomy that they that this happened. You almost hope, you wish that they were a winning team. I'm sweating my ass off in here. The rooms are so hot. And it looks like, if you look behind, you'll see I look like a prisoner at Guantanamo Bay right now. I'm sweating my fucking ass off, but that's what the Kleenex are for. But yeah, I mean, so it is astonishing. Like somebody pointed out on Twitter, like LSU should have been popped for cheating in the probably the Les Miles days, and you know the story now with Les Miles at Kansas. But that team was also winning, so a lot of people are pissed that stuff like that hasn't happened. But Nebraska uses extra coaches and they get popped, which is definitely, there's probably a lot of other situations where colleges should be fined or should be dealt with. But I also look at it, if they NCAA gets it wrong once, why should they turn the blind eye to it another time if a team does violate the rules? So I think they're doing the right thing with Nebraska, and I really don't care because I'm not really a Nebraska fan. I think their fan base, everybody says it's a loyal fan base. I think it's a fairly obnoxious fan base. I do not like Nebraska football really at all. I think it's cool that they were good in the 90s and 80s. Like, good for you guys. Cool. You really haven't had a winning season since then. But they're playing Illinois, so I think they're probably going to lose to Illinois, who also stinks. There's really a lot of stinker games here. UConn versus Fresno State. I've talked about UConn a lot on this podcast, and UConn sucks. Like, their football team should get either folded or moved to D1 AA if they want to have any success. And they're playing Fresno State. I think they're out at Fresno State. Hawaii, UCLA, that has some good game potential with UCLA always kind of being a team you never know how they're going to turn out. They could either go out there and win 9 games or win 3 games. And if they win 9 games, they could have a great bowl game or absolutely disappoint you in a bowl game. So Hawaii never really is great. They're never a great team. So I think UCLA will win that game. UTEP plays New Mexico State. Two teams I don't know really anything about. I know Will Hernandez played at UTEP, and I think Brian Urlacher played at New Mexico State, but I'm not too sure. So I'll take UTEP in this game because Will Hernandez played there, and I like watching him with the Giants now. And then Southern Utah, San Jose State. I couldn't name a single alum from either of those schools. But over the week, so Wednesday, you got UAB versus Jacksonville State, which is a game I have no real interest in, but it's college football, so I'll probably find a way to stream it in my dorm room. Boise State plays UCF, which actually has potential to be one of the biggest deciding games possibly in college football this season. Because if UCF has a real good year, they could make a push for an NY6 bowl game. And same with Boise State. They're a consistent team year after year after year. So for this game to be on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock is a goddamn shame. This should be a primetime game. The Citadel, one of my kind of, I don't know why I root for them. I love watching them because it's a triple option team probably. They're matched up with Coastal Carolina that same time on that same night. Coastal's probably going to wipe them, but I do have faith in the Citadel to not get absolutely shellacked, but it's not going to look good. Other games that night, South Florida plays NC State in a game that NC State is a wild card in the ACC. I mean, it's not a big deciding game, but like I said, NC State could rattle some cages and take down a team like that could be good, like a Virginia Tech or a UNC. Maybe not a Clemson, but a Florida State maybe. Other games, Ohio State plays Minnesota, which could be an upset game, could be a trap game early in the season for Ryan Day and that Ohio State team and Quinn Ewers. So I'm kind of excited for that one because I'm a huge PJ Fleck guy, probably my favorite coach in college football other than Brian Kelly, just because of his energy. I love the row the boat mantra. I love what he's done with the Minnesota program since he's gotten into Minneapolis. So I still think Ohio State wins, but watch for that game to be a sneaky upset. Trying to see other games. September 3rd is a Friday. Got UNC versus Virginia Tech, which could be a good game. UNC with Sam Howell. They're really kind of like a boomer bust team. They're really going to trying to make that push to be the number 1 team in that ACC, which is going to be tough. September 4th, that Saturday, you got September 3rd. Oh, no, we don't play. We play the following week on a Friday night against SUNY Maritime. But UConn plays Holy Cross, and if they lose that game, fold the fucking program. The program was just dead if you lose the Holy Cross. I mean, it's D1 AA football, boys. Like, it's just you can't lose the Holy Cross. Army plays Georgia State. I'm going to be pumped to watch Army play some football again. One of my favorite teams to watch. I love watching the service academies. I think that's probably why Citadel falls into it. I love watching Army, Navy, the Citadel, teams that just ground and pound, no air attack, ground and pound air with the triple option. Penn State plays Wisconsin, which could be a huge game. Could decide some playoff fates, because those are two teams that are really close to being playoff contenders, especially with the eight seed playoff now. Indiana, Iowa is another game that has real big potential to be a great game. Iowa is one of the top O-lines in the league, especially with the number one center in Tyler Linderbaum. How does that work out for them this year? I mean, they have one of the top O-lines in the country, but not the top in their state, with Iowa State probably having the number one O-line. But they're also playing a really good Indiana team with Penix at quarterback. So keep an eye on that game too. I think Indiana wins that game because Penix Jr. is just a freak of nature player. Alabama, Miami. I think Alabama absolutely smokes Miami. I think it's going to be very, very similar to the way that the game a few years ago when Alabama played USC. USC was hyped up. They got new Jordans, like new custom J's to wear for the game to travel. They went down there and got fucking smoked. They got buried. And I have no love, especially as a Notre Dame fan, for either of these teams, but I don't like Miami. I probably hate Miami more than I hate Alabama. So I'm really hoping that Bama just absolutely rolls these dudes. Navy plays Marshall, another game. Won't really have any implications for really anything this year, but Navy's back on the football field. Exciting news for that. Later at night, we get some absolute stinkers at night. Oh, we had Georgia Clemson. That's at 7:30 on September 4th. I mean, if Clemson's going to lose a game, it's going to be this one. And if Georgia's going to pull off a big upset, it's this one. And it really wouldn't even be that big an upset, but just with the lore that's been around Clemson these past few years with Trevor Lawrence. Now you got DJ, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, at the helm, and just a young team with Brian Breeze still on the D-line. I think Georgia wins this game, but I think Clemson still finishes the year as the number 2 ranked team because they're just going to absolutely roll through a lot of other ACC teams. But you get LSU, UCLA, which another game. LSU had a bad season last year. UCLA, very inconsistent team. You do not know what you're going to get in this game. You have no clue, and I think that's the most exciting part. Nevada plays Cal at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So first look at to see what Carson Strong can do at quarterback for Nevada, because, I mean, he's been hyped up as this guy that, like, he could be a top 10 pick. He could save an NFL franchise. I saw some clips of him from practice, and he did not look great. I understand practice is a little different from game time, but I don't know. I'm pumped to see what he can do. BYU, Arizona, I think BYU rolls them. And then September 5th, is that a Sunday they're playing? What? No way. Hold up. That cannot be right. No way. Hang on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Got to check the calendar. They're playing college football on a Sunday. Wow. Portland State is playing. Portland State's playing Hawaii because that game's at 12 a.m. It's at midnight. But wow, Notre Dame's playing Florida State at 7:30 to open the season. It's on September 5th. Wow. I'm excited about that. Holy shit, I'm excited about that. Michael Mayer, give me Jack Cohen. Kyron Williams, the number 1 back in college. And the O-line looks good. You got Kane Madden coming in as a transfer. You got 2 probably the best transfers in all of college football in Jack Cohen and Kane Madden. I think they're going to absolutely roll Florida State. And then that Monday night, you've got Louisville versus Ole Miss, which that's another game that, like I said, doesn't have a lot of potential to sway the way the season goes. for either of these teams or really have playoff implications. But it's going to be a high-power offensive game. It's just going to be a fun one for a lot of guys to watch. But so that kind of wraps up what I think is going to go down the first week/2 weeks of college football, because I'm just so excited for this to happen. College football is really the one sport I really, really care about. NFL is very hit or miss for me. If the Vikings are playing, I'll watch them because I love them. If the Pats are playing, it's real hit or miss. I'll obviously watch the big games this year, like Tampa versus New England when they come to New England. What's up? I won't watch the Steelers. Nutter is a Steelers fan, and I think, do I have thoughts on that team? We'll get to that later down the road. That garbage fucking offensive line, not Super Bowl bound. They have one edge rusher. It's not gonna look good this year. It's gonna be scary for them when they're going 3-13, 3-14. They have to take Desmond Ridder with the 4th overall pick. But yeah, quarterback's a tough position for them. All right. But so like I said, Camp Chronicles, we're gonna work to get some other guys on. Possibly a coach's pod, getting as Coach Muldoon calls himself, Muldeezy, on the show with the Rain Dog, Coach Rainey. Nutter possibly on the pod. He's in the room right now. But I won't lie, I'm not wearing pants right now because it's so hot. I've just got the golf shirt. Like, it is so hot in here right now. It's ridiculous. And I've got a fan going. I had another one going, but it came unplugged, but that was a small one. But I think we're going to do one with Mac Brown and the kid he takes care of, Joe Serrato, which will be a fun one. Mac does a lot of community service work, and we're really proud of what he does up at the school. Just joking. Joe's a good dude. Joe, I love you if you're listening to this. And then I think one of the big finale ones will be when we have Crow on the show, because Crow's missed all of camp because he's been out on a ship. And I mean, it's his senior year camp. That's a tough thing to go through, to not go through your senior year camp and to not be able to really compete with your team. So I just got followed by like a Sopranos parody account. So what is this? Solid. Nice. It's another show I need to finish. I haven't really had time in camp. I watched a good amount of episodes on one of our off days. Kind of just chilled, but yeah, like I said, other than that, make sure you follow us on social media at My Parents Office on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, My Parents Office podcast Facebook page, and articles from the office on Substack. Like I said, I haven't been too active on the blog. I'll post like an update from camp 2 from that or on that. Excuse me. But like I said, I've been doing the college football countdown, which I've had an absolute blast with. I'm already thinking about next year when it hits day 99, because I don't know who I'm going to substitute. I don't want to do the same players again. And like, I won't have to, but I mean, there's some guys you want to write about again because there's a lot more you could write about. Like Tim Tebow was a guy I hit on very briefly because I was getting ready to move into camp. There's a lot more to dig in with Tim Tebow's time in Gainesville, down in the swamp. So I'm already thinking about that more. And then stay tuned for more announcements with what Brett and I are going to be doing come this winter. I know it's a ways away, but also wish Brett a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Kirk Cousins, and happy birthday, Johnny Drama from Entourage. But other than that, I'll have some JR Specs play you guys out. But thank you for listening.